Okay, so I'm doing the recording of the video. So I had a problem with the camera, so I didn't get any audio when I cut everything together. So first thing I did with the mixer, make in biscuits. Dump in, that's 1.5 pounds of butter. Go over, and to make it quick, I'm going to add in self-raising flour. Turn it on, and then start mixing everything till it crumbs up. Apologize for the strange sound. I don't normally do all this sort of stuff. So that'll be 1.5 pounds of butter, and it's going to end up being 12 cups of self-raising flour if you want to try and use the measurements again to do anything on your own. And the idea is to just mix it till it gets fully crumbed up. It will look a bit like a rough sand. Stop occasionally, use the paddle, make sure all the big bits of butter are off the side of the bowl and out of the paddle attachment on the mixer. Alright, after it's run for a while here, you can see what it's come out looking like. I've got a good mix. Sorry for the bad camera angle, but I'll see here it's sandy. Still quite fine, but when I squeeze it together, it just holds, but then crumble right back in bits again. I've seasoned it with salt, pepper, both white and black, paprika, Cajun spice, a little bit of cumin, some oregano, and thyme, and a dash of veg stock. Now I'm going to add cheese. This is just cheap grated cheese that we get in at work. Um, trying to think. I did go light on the butter on the biscuit, so this is about 8.5, 9 cups of cheese. So I want to make sure they're really, really cheesy. It's just Cajun cheesy biscuits. So just mix it so it's all spread pretty well through it. Then I add in the milk, just to get the mix wet through. Ideally, if I didn't have students coming in, I'd pour it in, leave it for a minute or two, go do something, then pulse it through the mixer. Just a couple of light pulses, because with all the fat, it'll just spew the milk out. A little bit more, and then run it till it just starts to bind together and you don't have any loose milk sitting around in the bowl. Take it down, scrape it off the paddle, and here I go to dump it out. I've mixed it together. There's still dry patches in the mix, but at the same time the rest of it's holding together really well and will actually be quite wet. But if you mix it too well, it starts to get real doughy. So dump out a large amount on the tray. And for my case, I sprayed the tray down with nonstick spray, nothing fancy. Now I'm just sort of rearranging it in the bowl, the rest in the bowl so it doesn't fall over. Try to press it down. Tray's got about an inch of rim, so I want to pack it down just at the level of the tray. If I've done it right, it usually just about doubles in size when it bakes. And don't want to leave massive patches of dry mix, but otherwise it's just mixing, mashing slightly, and pressing everything down. You can see how bad it sticks to my hands. I have floured trays before, but I found it didn't make a huge difference with this versus the nonstick spray. I still get a nice floury, crusty base. Now for this on the other end, I'm going to roll out a little bit more flour. I just grabbed self-raising because the bin was open. Already had a jug in it. Doesn't matter which one you use. At least make sure everything's mixed into a bowl. Start spreading it out. Now this is when I forgot to bring out the rolling pin and just decided to do everything by hand. Give it a nice fold over. Do that a couple times and you'll end up with bit longer, flakier layers. Yeah, here's where I remember the rolling pin. Roll it out for these. I wanted them quite flat, so that's reasonably thin, cutting them up like round biscuits. They're all about the size of a burger bun. And here I edit the video, but I take all the rest of the mix and just roll it back as sheet tray at the other end. Take for the individual biscuits, dust them up with a little bit of water on top, gives them a nice, a little bit of milk on top, gives them a nice crust. Stick them in 200 Celsius for about 10 minutes for the regular biscuits. Trays will end up taking longer. So when they come out, the small biscuits are cooked through. The big ones will need a bit more time. So I'll get those small ones off the tray, show you what they look like. Cajun cheesy biscuits. And then, yeah, the big stuff goes in. That needed about another 6-7 minutes, but you can see how much it's risen. Originally, it was below the rim of the tray. There you go.